Alright guys, so today's project list: 15-2 sprocket change out, oil change in the Buza. That'll be a different video if I decide to do a video. It's just an oil change. The nitrous button needs to be hooked up with the limitations still in place. I have some house things to do. I need to mow, do some HVAC work, and I'm going to try and diagnose the shifter failure. I don't know if it's an ECU. I think it might be a wiring issue. So let's get to getting the nitrous button working. First, we need to pull the windshield, and we'll go from there. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and get this windshield pulled off of here so that we have access to the back of our dash. Now, I may have wired this bike myself, and I should know all the wiring, but there's a lot of wiring to memorize in this thing. So, we're just going to verify rather than assuming that pink is correct. The easiest way to verify that is going to be to look at the back of the dash where the switches are. What color do I have going into, into the nitrous activation switch for the auto nitrous, because that's what I'm bypassing. So, here's my dash. Here's the breakout plugs for that. Alright. So that should have been the oil pressure. Here we go. So we're going to take this cold shrink off and get back down to where I can see the original color codes. I'm pretty sure it's pink, but that's off the top of my head guessing, so we're not going to guess. We're going to get facts, because I'd hate to wire it up wrong and have the wrong input triggered and then try and figure out why it went wrong. Okay, so top switch is nitrous, top switch is, hey, look at that, pink, center pin. And then the bottom A is sensor ground. So we're going to go ahead and wire up to A and B. C we'll ignore, that's shift. That'll eventually get pinned in to a button over here, but we're not going to do that today. On this, we're pulling power from the main. Nope, that shouldn't be interrupting anything. Seems like it should be good. So, alright, AB. Let's go pin it out, guys. Pinned out AB, locked up. We now have push button nitrous control. So, the next thing I need to do, inside of here there's a little bump that keeps this centered. I need to slide the control out, and we'll go through how we're going to locate that on the bars and drill it. Alright guys, so you'll see this little teat sticking up here. We need a hole in the bar to locate that so it doesn't pivot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this around the bar, rough the angle I need, and this line here lines up perfectly with the center of that teat. So I'm going to make a mark on the bar. Then I'm going to measure how far over from this side to the center of the teat is, mark that out, and make my final drilling point. Let's go through that. I'm going to take a paint marker and make a mark, a sharp angle. Alright, so now set the paint marker down, take a mill stick, and we're going to measure the distance from this edge to the center of that teat, 4 centimeters exactly, like dead on 4 centimeters. Works out pretty good. So I'm going to spin this out, slip this off there so we can flex it, and we're going to measure in 4 centimeters. And our mark is going to be right on that line. Right there is where we want our hole. This should lock it into place right where I want it. We'll get it hooked up, set up, and should be ready to rock on the nitrous on push button. Once we have that, I'll be putting the fuel tank back on and we'll start up there. So we're walking the chain off in order to change gears. I don't know why the GoPro decided to stop on its own, but it did. So now the chain's walked off. We're gonna go ahead and walk it off the sprocket. And the sprocket's out. Now we're gonna go to the 15 that I used last year. So here we go. Come on, bind your splines. There we go. Put the lock on. And the nut on with the shoulder on it. It's a specific nut. Don't just go buy one. Go buy the one you need. And don't cross thread it either, because this counter shaft is not easily replaced. You have to split the motor. Someone's previously tried to cross thread this one. There it goes. Let's get that back up on the splines. And before we can hammer that down, we need to walk the chain back on. Chain's back on. Slide it back a little bit just to set a little bit of tension. We'll have to adjust the tension here in a minute. And hammer her home. And we'll go ahead and put that cover back on, tighten it back down. We'll be back when it's time to put the tank on. Alright guys, now this next part, not quite so entertaining. It's a bit of a pain in my arse. But we need to put this tank back on that bike. And the way it's designed, it doesn't go on so nice. You'll see that it's got a fuel fitting. Why is there? It's like there's water in it. I hope not, but it acts like it. May just be humidity on the fitting. We'll know here shortly, huh? So this has got to go underneath of the frame rail, which sucks. Okay, so we're gonna go through this together. This has got to go under. And there we go, we got that. Now we got to slide back enough to be able to get past there. We need the screwdriver to get the screw type pop rivet out. I've done this way too many times now. Fortunately, I haven't had to do it in a while. But still, way too many times. Drop that past. And there we go. Now we gotta hook this fuel line up down under here. The AN-6 that goes to the fuel, what used to be fuel tap back in the day. This is the worst part right here. The definition worst part. Because I gotta start it by hand. It's aluminum fittings and you can't see what I'm doing, but it is starting. There's that. So now we're going to take our wrenches and we're going to grab a hold of the filter here. Yep. And the end line. And then we're going to tighten it. Flip the wrench, get another bite. Good and tight. Take the return line from the regulator. Make sure it's out of the way of everything and get it to finger start. And we'll go ahead and take a wrench. No, I don't have AN wrenches, but you know what? This works. And we're going to snug it down. Good and tight. And before I tighten the tank down, I'm going to go ahead and pour some C16 out of the can into another can and pour it in the tank, and we'll check for leaks. Be right back. Alright, here we go. We got about a gallon and a half in here. Just enough to put in the tank. If I spill it, I won't feel bad. That Purdy Blue. Now this is overkill fuel now that I am on only a 30 shot. I could do everything I'm doing on 93. But the tune is set up for C16. I don't want to mess with it. And I'm putting a lot of timing into this. So, like a lot. Oh, it's leaking. That's good. No leaks yet. That's good. Let's see what happens when we prime it. A leak. A leak. I think my fuel pressure regulator diaphragm's gone bad. I do believe. Nope, it's this. This fitting right here is bad. So that's not good. The real bad news, that is going to leak like a sieve. So I knew I had a fuel leak there. I wasn't sure what it was. So we'll go ahead and figure that out and we'll be back. Alright guys, so we got a bad O-ring on the regulator, so it's not a horrid leak right now. So we're going to go ahead and do some testing, but we will have to fix that before I go do riding. But we're going to start it, warm it up, see if the launch works on that push button once I get the computer on it, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, you can see the differences here. Launch is enabled, launch is off. Nitrous is off, nitrous is on. So we're going to go to the current tuner studio settings. This should turn launch control on with this button now, hopefully. And at 3,000. It's not. It is not. So, obviously that input isn't working. So I have to move forward from there. Alright guys, so another one of those I got frustrated moments. Sitting here chasing it, couldn't figure out why I couldn't get it up on launch control. Set at 30% throttle. 30% is a lot of throttle when you're sitting there. So I set it down at 5. At the track, 30% is fine because I'm coming out of my burnout. I get up there and I just snap right to 30, 50, 90% throttle. So we got it working. It's on the button. I'm going to go ahead and set that up to control the nitrous. And we're going to go do a nitrous hit, hopefully. Alright guys, so I got it back on the tender, charging up. My phone just went off over there as the dash. I'm going to plug the Bluetooth back in, get all that tucked away. Drop this panel back into its hole. This one likes to stay there. We're going to go ahead and get the tank mounted. And then go see if the bike wants to behave. As I mentioned previously, by all letter of the law in Alabama, this bike is street legal. As long as I don't exceed the speed limit, I can ride it. Conveniently enough, I got a GPS speedometer and all that good jazz, which is great. It does have a tag. It does have insurance. So to the letter. It does have a tag. It does have insurance. So to the letter of the law, this bike is legal. So we're going to do a little street testing. We'll go down the street to the intersection after I let it charge for about half an hour. Why are you not wanting to agree? There it goes. We'll see what it wants to do. The only thing I'm not going to do is put the windshield back on yet. Alright guys, so I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not nervous as a motherfucker right now. So I have no clue if this bike's even going to work. So. perfect. We can shut her down. We can go to the track, guys. Yee. All right, guys. So that was our step back to go forward video. Part 2. Part 1 was kind of but anyway, we've gone ahead and done our steps back. The bike is freaking ridiculous when you hit the spray, even on a 30. I really can't wait to step that up to like a 60 or 80, whatever I can. But I need to pull the log. I'm going to go through that and see where we're at on injector duty cycle up top. The air fuels were awesome. It was like 13.1, 13.2. I'll probably add a little bit more fuel, but not a whole hell of a lot. And we'll see. I could only watch a little bit because the bike kind of responded differently than I expected. But we sprayed it a few times. It behaved exactly as it should have, so we're ready for the track. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't find a track open tonight. Maybe make the next video.